Have you thought about how you can help climate change or been worried about it at some point? It's a topic that we hear about almost on a daily basis with scientists, politicians, some of them, and everyday people are trying to figure out how they can lessen their impact on climate change. But did you know that going vegan is one of the biggest ways you can make a positive impact on our planet? Vegans have the lowest carbon emissions of all dietary types, so going vegan is one of the best ways to cut your personal carbon emissions. Adopting a vegan diet has so many more benefits too. Veganism not only helps animals, but it's also one of the best things you can do for your health, and as stated before, has positive effects on the environment. Obviously, a vegan diet saves animals. An overview can be seen in my first slide. It's estimated that 56 billion animals are killed each year for food. 56 billion a year. So how many animals does the average person eat in their lifetime? That number comes out to about 7,000. Obviously, it's a rough estimate, with some eating more or less. Cattle raised for beef often live in deplorable conditions, overcrowded, often beaten because they're too weak to walk, and with little to no medical attention when they collapse, get an infection, or the many other conditions they go through every day. They are usually hung upside down on a machine and taken to get their throat cut to drain their blood. They are often alive when this happens, along with the same thing happening to chickens and pigs too. Mother pigs are also put into small cages where they can't turn around, breathe fresh air, and never get to know what grass feels like. They are impregnated over and over again until their bodies give out, and then they are sent to slaughter. Their babies are taken away from them after a few weeks. They are raised in cramped conditions, then transported and killed for the bacon or sausage you enjoy every morning. But it's not only animals going to the slaughterhouse that are suffering. Most egg-laying chickens are put into packed, tiny cages with no sunlight or fresh air. And if any hatch beforehand, the females are raised for eggs and the males are usually tossed into a grinder. Dairy cows are constantly impregnated so they will lactate for milk for human consumption. Their babies are taken from them a few days after birth for veal, grown for beef, or to be dairy cows themselves. Mother cows will cry for their baby for days, hoping they will see them again, but sadly, they never do. They often get infections because they are constantly hooked up to a machine for their milk, so it's not uncommon for pus, blood, and feces to get into the milk. There are several documentaries out there that show the truth behind factory farming and the horrors that these animals are put through every day. Not eating meat or dairy is also one of the best things you can do for your health. Some of the health benefits can be seen in my second slide. There are many benefits to a vegan diet. A few are losing weight, fending off certain cancers, lowering your risk of heart disease, have more energy, and so much more. The Physicians Committee of Responsible Medicine stated, milk and other dairy products are the top source of saturated fat in the American diet, contributing to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. Studies have also linked dairy to an increased risk of breast, ovarian, and prostate cancers. Recently, the World Health Organization made headlines when it declared processed meat a carcinogen that can increase your risk of colon cancer by 18%, as seen in the next slide. But it's not just processed meat that has health risks. Scientists have known for a while that eating all kinds of animals, including white meat, is bad for you. A vegan diet also has positive effects on the environment, which some of the benefits can be quickly seen in my last slide. Well, with vegans having the lowest carbon emissions of all dietary types, going vegan is one of the biggest ways to cut your personal carbon emissions. If everyone in the world went vegan, we could cut our greenhouse gas emissions by 70%. It also decreases deforestation, pollution, combats world hunger, and conserves water. A recent landmark report from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change found that dietary change can substantially lower emissions, but there is no UN plan to achieve that. 2 recent peer-reviewed studies calculated that without severe cuts in growing meat consumption, agricultural emissions will take up the entire world's carbon budget by 2050, with livestock a major contributor. This would mean every other sector, including energy, industry, and transport, would have to be zero carbon, which is described as impossible. The Chatham House reports conclude dietary change is essential if global warming is not to exceed 2 degrees Celsius. I suggest watching the documentaries Plant Pure Nation and Forks Over Knives to get more in-depth information on each of these topics. So wouldn't you want to do everything you can for the animals or your health? If not, then do it for the planet. It's not just you who lives on it. Billions of people are affected by our choices, and we can save so many people by giving them the essential food and water they need that is currently being consumed by farm animals. It's one small change that is easier now than ever to do. Over 1 million people in the U.S. are vegan and a lot more vegetarian. Companies like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods are making vegan food cheaper and more accessible by partnering with places like Burger King, Carl's Jr., Subway, and others to get more people to eat vegan. There are so many great plant-based food options and meat and dairy substitutions out there now. It's easier than now to stop eating meat. There are also a lot of different cookbooks you can buy and a lot of information in those. You can get really fancy ones, Veganomicon. You can go a little less fancy, but my family would never eat vegan. A lot of fun family vegan food in there. Or if you just want to be simple, French fries. They're vegan. So, adopting a vegan diet can help animals from factory farms, improve your health, and save our planet. Why wouldn't you want to do it?